Struan, with the support of his Cossack regiment, curbed us and tried to stamp us out. God's work that in time Reza Shah was humiliated and exiled by his foul British masters to die forgotten. God's work that Mohammed Shah was forced to flee a few days ago. God's work that Khomeini has returned to lead his revolution. The will of God that tomorrow or the next day I will be martyred. God's pleasure that we're swept by his whirlwind, and that now there will be a final reckoning on all Shah lackeys and all foreigners. The helicopter was closer now, but still he did not hear it, the whine of the gusting wind helping to bury the sound. Contentedly he pulled out his prayer rug and spread it on the snow, his back still aching from the wheels that the whip had caused, then scooped up a handful of snow. Ritually he washed his hands and face, preparing for the fourth prayer of the day, then faced southwest toward the holy city of Mecca that lay 1,000 miles away in Saudi Arabia, and put his mind to God. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illa Allah. As he repeated the Shahada, he prostrated himself, letting the Arabic words embrace him. God is most great. God is most great. I testify there is no other God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. God is most great. God is most great. I testify there is no other God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. The wind picked up, colder now. Then through his earmuffs he caught the pulse of the jet engine. It grew, and went into his head and drove away his peace and ruined his concentration. Angrily, he opened his eyes. The approaching helicopter was barely 200 feet above the ground, climbing straight toward him. At first he thought it might be an army aircraft, and a sudden fear went into him that they were searching for him. Then he recognized the British red, white, and blue colors and familiar markings of the bold SG around the Red Lion of Scotland on the fuselage, the same helicopter company that operated from the airbase at Kowis and all over Iran. So his fear left him, but not his rage. He watched it, hating what it represented. Its course was almost directly overhead, but it presented no danger to him. He doubted if those aboard would notice him, here in the lee of an outcrop. Even so, with all of his being, he resented the intrusion into his peace and destruction of his prayers. And as the ear-shattering scream increased, his anger soared. La ilaha illa Allah. He tried to go back into prayer, but now the thrust of the blades whirled the snow into his face. Behind him his horse whinnied and cavorted in sudden panic, the hobble making him slip and slide. The pack camel, jerked by the halter, equally in panic, reeled to her feet, bellowing, and stumbled this way and that on 3 legs, shaking her load and fouling the bindings. His rage burst. "Infidel!" he bellowed at the airplane that now was almost over the lip of the mountain, leapt to his feet and grabbed his gun, slipped the safety and let off a burst, then corrected and emptied the magazine. "Satan!" he shrieked in the sudden silence. When the first bullets splashed the chopper, the young pilot, Scot Gallavan, was momentarily paralyzed, and he stared stupidly at the holes in the plastic canopy ahead. "Christ almighty!" he gasped, never having been fired on before, but his words were drowned by the man in the front seat beside him, whose reactions were honed and battle-fast. "Hit the deck!" the command roared in his headphones. "Hit the deck!" Tom Lockhart shouted again into his boom mic. Then, because he had no controls of his own, he overrode the pilot's left hand and shoved the collective lever down, cutting lift and power abruptly. The chopper reeled drunkenly, instantly losing height. At that moment the second burst sprayed them. There was an ominous crack above and behind. Somewhere else a bullet howled off metal, the jets coughed, and the chopper fell out of the sky. She was a 206 Jet Ranger, 1 pilot, 4 passengers, 1 in front, 3 in the back, and she was full. An hour ago, Scott had routinely picked up the others back from a month's home leave at Shiraz Airport, 50-odd miles southeast, but now routine was nightmare, and the mountain rushed at them until...